you're sorry you say everything almost. Because I'm sure that, given a second time through or something, I could probably do it better. Because we learn by our experience, but I'm not going to waste time worrying about that either. I'm not going to say I said it and I'm glad. I say, is it true that you said it? I say, yeah. And they say, how do you feel about that now? I say, well, we have to pursue it. And I said it then. I don't have to say it again.
So you don't like to repeat yourself?
I prefer not to.
Lee Marvin, born in 1924 in New York City, came from a wealthy family. But his early life didn't hint at the tough guy actor he would become. After being expelled from several boarding schools, Marvin shocked everyone by joining the Marines during World War II. As a scout sniper, he fought in 21 amphibious assaults and was severely wounded in the Battle of Saipan. After recovering, he drifted for a while before discovering his passion for acting. Marvin made his Hollywood debut in 1951, but his breakthrough came with 8 Iron Men, 1952, and The Wild One, 1953, where he stood out alongside Marlon Brando. His tough guy persona earned him roles in crime dramas, war films, and westerns. His big TV break came with M Squad, 1957 to 1960, where he portrayed the tough cop Frank Ballinger, solidifying his iconic status. Despite his success, Marvin struggled with personal demons, including war trauma, alcohol, and violent behavior, which Hollywood kept hidden. He became a household name, appearing in commercials and starring in The Killers, 1964, which earned him a BAFTA, and Cat Ballou, 1965, where his comedic performance won him an Oscar. Marvin's versatility extended to Paint Your Wagon, 1969, where his unexpected hit song Wanderin' Star topped the UK charts. In the late 60s, he earned $1 million for Point Blank, 1967, a film where he had significant creative input. Off-screen, Marvin's battles with alcoholism were well known, and his behavior on set was often erratic. Despite this, his commitment to realism in his roles, such as using live ammunition in Hell in the Pacific, showcased his dedication to authenticity. Later in life, Marvin's health declined due to arthritis, but he continued performing his own stunts, most notably in The Big Red One, 1980, and Gorky Park, 1983. Marvin's career was defined by his raw talent, personal struggles, and an unwavering dedication to the craft, making him a lasting figure in Hollywood history. By the time Lee Marvin was filming Gorky Park, his health had seriously declined. The director had to schedule his scenes early in the day, when Marvin was still able to perform. Although the film barely broke even, critics praised his performance. Marvin's declining health led to a reduced role, and his erratic behavior became well known. On the set of The Professionals, his drinking had gotten so out of hand that Burt Lancaster threatened to throw him off a cliff if he showed up drunk again, which finally got Marvin to sober up for the duration of the film. Marvin's antics continued on set. During the filming of Point Blank, he punched a fellow actor in the stomach to test whether the actor could handle the intensity of the role. But the most infamous incident occurred on the set of The Dirty Dozen, where a drunken Marvin stole a real tank and drove it through the set, causing massive destruction. The production was forced to shut down for 2 days, but his unpredictable behavior only added to the dangerous edge he brought to his characters, and directors continued to hire him. Though known for his tough persona, Marvin also had a hidden talent for music. In Paint Your Wagon, he sang Wanderin' Star, which became a hit, even outselling the Beatles in the UK. He also played the harmonica, a skill he had picked up during his time in the Marines. Marvin's love for music extended to his contributions off-camera, where he often suggested musical elements during film shoots without seeking credit. Marvin also left a significant creative mark on his films. On The Dirty Dozen, he rewrote parts of the script using authentic military language to make the action feel more realistic. He would make these changes between takes, once even rewriting a scene with Charles Bronson while hungover after a night of drinking. His contributions saved the studio money and helped shape the film's gritty atmosphere. In addition to his behind-the-scenes work, Marvin mentored younger actors, including Mark Hamill on the set of The Big Red One. Marvin taught Hamill how to portray a soldier's movements and the emotional weight of war. Hamill credited Marvin's guidance with changing his approach to acting and kept a letter Marvin wrote him filled with career advice. In 1969, disturbed by the ongoing Vietnam War, Marvin funded and produced a documentary about the conflict. He traveled to Vietnam, interviewed soldiers, and filmed combat scenes. Although a major studio was initially interested in releasing it, the government intervened, claiming it could hurt morale, and the film was shelved. After Marvin's death, the documentary vanished, and many consider it one of the most significant unreleased war documentaries. Marvin also helped shape The Killers, transforming it from a TV movie into a theatrical release by putting up his own money. He pushed for Ronald Reagan to play the villain and insisted on using a Shelby Cobra, which became a key visual element. The Killers was Marvin's favorite film, not because of his performance, but because it was the first time he had shaped a project from start to finish. A year later, he won an Oscar for Cat Ballou. Despite his professional success, Marvin struggled with the emotional scars of his World War II service as a scout sniper. He fought in brutal battles, was severely wounded in Saipan, and carried shrapnel in his body for life. These experiences left him with what is now recognized as PTSD, and drinking became his way of coping. Hollywood was aware of his struggles, and while some believed his drinking enhanced his performances, others banned alcohol on set due to his unpredictable behavior. Marvin tried to quit many times, especially during his marriage to Betty, but would always relapse into destructive habits. In his later years, Marvin's drinking reached new lows. Living with Michelle Treola, he became even more erratic, especially during the filming of The Dirty Dozen in 1966. His drinking almost halted production multiple times, with Marvin disappearing for hours to drink in local bars. Once, during a scene where he was supposed to drive a military truck alongside Charles Bronson, he went missing. The crew eventually found him, poured coffee into him, and rushed him back to set. When Marvin stumbled out of the car, Bronson, frustrated, threatened him, though it was more an expression of exasperation than a serious ultimatum. Efforts to help Lee Marvin get clean were largely unsuccessful. In 1976, his wife Pamela and friends persuaded him to check into rehab, but he left after only 3 days, dismissing it as something for people with real problems. A few years later, his doctor warned him about his deteriorating liver and heart, but Marvin's attempts to quit drinking continued to falter. Another stint in rehab, this time in Arizona, lasted only 2 weeks. By the early 1980s, Marvin's health had worsened, and his behavior became more erratic. Directors began avoiding him, and insurance companies refused to cover him due to his unreliability. On one set, his hands trembled so badly that crew members had to assist him with holding props. Friends described him as angry and isolated, continuing to struggle with alcohol-related health issues while refusing to stop drinking. Around this time, Marvin was embroiled in a legal battle with Michelle Treola, who sued him for palimony, claiming half of his earnings after 6 years of living together. Though California had abolished common-law marriage, the case was groundbreaking, as the state Supreme Court ruled that Treola could sue for support. The media sensationalized the trial, with Michelle presenting love letters as evidence of their bond. Marvin denied ever loving her and ridiculed her claims. Ultimately, the judge ruled in Marvin's favor, but he gave Michelle $104,000 for rehabilitation, which she considered a win. The case set a legal precedent, establishing that unmarried partners could seek financial support, and the term palimony was coined. Marvin's career never fully recovered. His health, drinking, and the legal battle took a toll. His final film was The Delta Force, 1986, where he starred alongside Chuck Norris, but by then, his physical health had declined, and he struggled with constant stomach pain. His body couldn't handle the demands of the role, and behind the scenes, he was suffering from an inflamed colon. Marvin's last film, Golden Girl, was released posthumously in 1979, but performed poorly both critically and commercially. It felt disconnected from the roles he was best known for, though it has since gained a small cult following for its strange themes. Years later, Marvin's first wife, Betty, released a memoir revealing his struggles with alcohol, anger, and war trauma. She offered a more personal, vulnerable portrait of him, far from his tough guy image.